What's up guys, Chris here with Cohesive Friendship Unit. Just me today. We have the Smash Ultimate 4.0 update, and with that update we got the hero. And the hero has been labbed for about a day now. He's been in a few tournaments. A lot of people have a lot of vocal opinions. Is the hero trash or is the hero broken? And I'm going to try to weigh in on that. I'm going to start by covering his general move, his non-magic moves, any move that doesn't use magic. Then I'm going to cover his magic moves, his moves that do use magic. And then I'm going to try to holistically tie everything together. But real quick, before I do that, we are doing a giveaway. And that giveaway is for Conan Exile. That's Steam code. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel at 800 subs. We're picking a random sub to give that code to. If you want to find out more, check out our channel description or our channel page, but we would super much appreciate that support. Alright guys, let's jump right into it. Before I get into it, I do want to say, I was talking to my buddy, and I was like, hey, do you think the hero is broken, or do you think the hero is literal trash, like bottom tier? And because that's really the scales. Like if you talk to people, that's kind of the knee-jerk reaction. And he said he is both terrible and broken. And I think that actually kind of sums it up. But let's start with the non-magic moves, which is to me the trash of the hero. So right off the bat, just in general, everything has pretty poor range. Everything is pretty slow, and with the exception of his smash attacks, nothing really does a whole lot of damage. And this ties up to be a kind of rough situation for the hero. So his tilts have pretty bad range, with the exception of up tilt. I actually really like up tilt. That's like one of my favorite moves that he has. But down tilt and at least the first hit of forward tilt are, oof, they do not go out very far. Kind of remind me of Zelda's down tilt, being a Zelda main. His aerials are really frustrating for me for a couple of reasons. We'll start with his up air because that's kind of the exception to the rule. Basically all of his aerials are pretty slower, weaker copies with worse range of other moves. His up air is that exception. His up air to me reminds me of Fox's up air, but just the first hit. So or somewhere in between the first and the second hit. Like, it comes out super quick, and this is honestly probably where you're going to be getting the most combos out of the hero, is something like up tilt and stringing up airs if you can. But it's such a narrow range to hit. It does come out quick though. The rest of his aerials are woof is all I can say. They don't do a whole lot of damage in general, and they come out super slow. The back air, you're going to be seeing some gameplay with me just messing around with him, and you'll see me like jump into people backwards, and that's usually me trying to do a back air, but it takes so long to come out. It's not like a crazy good move. Like, it's a fine move, but it's so painfully slow to come out. But yeah, Nair, Fair, and Bear are all slow. So slow to the point that it's pretty hard to get combos like doing like a throw into an aerial. Usually by the time the aerial comes out, whatever character you're fighting has had a chance to air dodge or do something, because my god, they're just slow. And the fact that they're so slow with limited range makes it hard for you to like really string combos together. Overall sluggishness, not the fastest, but those smash attacks are bang up. That forward smash is a monster, especially with a critical hit and especially with the magic moves. And this is where it gets like really weird, right? Because like a whole lot of his moveset, his tilts, his aerials, his jab's okay, but his tilts and his aerials just amount to like pretty poor performance. And his smash attacks are good, but once you start adding the magic is when everything happens. So let's start with the non-down special magic moves, that being your neutral B and your side special. Your up special also covers this, but there's not a whole lot to talk about. I think his recovery is pretty fine. But the neutral special, a lot of people, at least in the early tournaments, the commentators were saying there's you should always fully charge neutral B, because you can charge it even when you have no magic, and then you won't be able to use it until you have enough magic, so you should just always have it charged. It doesn't hurt. My counterpoint to that would be you should not necessarily always have it fully charged, because you might want to have that low magic quick projectile. And I do think that his neutral B is actually really good. It charges really fast considering the amount of damage it does. I mean, the neutral special and the side special rival or exceed things like Samus's charge shot. The neutral special has good distance, comes out at a reasonable speed. It's not very fast, but if it's fully charged, it has a decent size. And it doesn't use too much magic, I don't think. The side special is another story, but the side special is extremely versatile. It comes out pretty quick, has decent range if someone's coming at you. Fully charged, it does a disgusting amount of damage. And if it's fully charged, it can actually cover you vertically as well. And it's just a really solid move. It's very versatile. You can use it in a lot of situations depending on how long you charge it, and you can really throw people off combining the two of those. And those are really the two reliable magic moves that you have, and as a whole they're really solid. I'd say they have a good amount of damage, and they're fairly reliable. But let's get into his down specials, because this is where the character becomes absolutely broken. I'm sure you've already seen a lot of people kind of going into the details where he can basically either, one hit kill or do like 100% in maybe a single hit depending on the situation. This is obviously what makes the character like absolute trash or is completely broken. So there's like almost dozens of options. There are like there's around 20 down B options, and they can do almost anything depending on the situation, and they're kind of a random slot machine where you'll only get to pick from a couple, and you won't really be able to move while you're picking. So if you were to couple the buffs that he gets, like Psych Up, which is like the one hit, does a lot of extra damage knockback, or the Oomph, which is the timed, gives you extra damage, those make him really good because you're trading that lack of range and that lack of speed for a lot of power. Like a Psych Up smash attack can do like over 40 damage, even if it's just barely charged, which is insane. You only have to hit someone once to get them up to 50%. And then there are others. There are some really neat projectiles, like Snooze, they're hard to go into. It wouldn't even matter if I said them. But you have a wide range of projectiles at your disposal, basically, and you have a wide range of melee options. I don't find the melee options as helpful, things like Hatchet Man, Flame Slash, things like those, because you again have to be scrolling through that menu to get one out, and the damage that they put out usually doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But then you have things like Magic Blast, which drains your magic but it has a huge area of effect and does just an insane amount of damage. And you can mix things up like Snooze, which puts the enemy to sleep. You snooze someone, you go up and you get a critical hit, which is about a 10% chance on your smash attacks that you do a critical hit. Do a critical hit, there's almost nothing your opponent can do. These are the situations where things are looking kind of broken for the hero. And then I think we should mention Hocus Pocus, which who knows how much that'll be used in competitive. I think there'll have to be a lot of like percentage labbing to see if it's actually worth trying. It can do anything from making you big to giving you star power to buffing you to making you small, putting you to sleep, slowing you down. There's many different possibilities. So Hocus Pocus is, again, just yet another wild card in making, star power. That is definitely not okay. You can become invisible, things like that. So yeah, he really has kind of a weird situation where his general game without magic is like pretty terrible, and with magic his non-down special moves are actually reasonably solid, which kind of puts him in a decent position. But once you throw the down special into the mix, it is tough because on the one hand you can become incredibly overpowered if you know what you're doing. On the other hand, you can actually harm yourself as the player playing the hero in the sense that, one, you have to be scrolling through that menu, which makes you extremely vulnerable, and two, you can actually cause damage to yourself, be it using kamikaze by accident, which kills you, but it does a lot of damage if you can hit with it, or again using something like Hocus Pocus, which puts you to sleep, or using something like Accelerate or Zoom when you don't mean to. And I think Accelerate is trash. You feel really bad. It feels nothing like Shulk's jump or Shulk's speed. It's very hard to control Accelerate. I do not think it's a good option for people. And again, like if you use Zoom and Neutral, easily punished, and that's just a missed input when you're, on the fly trying to read fast random orders. That's the other thing. Everything's random, so even hitting down B is risky. So this is it, right? Like, if in a perfect scenario the hero were to, get buff after buff, get like, let's say the hero gets 3 psych ups in a row and you land solid hits with him, that's pretty unfair. Or, unlimited oomphs, or you just keep getting snooze, like whenever you want, like just like, let's pretend the perfect scenario, or you keep getting Hocus Pocus and it keeps giving you star power multiple times in a row. Of course it's unlikely, but it could happen. And I mean, the whole point of removing items from competitive Smash is to remove the random element. So from that perspective, it's questionable if the hero is broken, if the hero should be banned. And I think playing a lot of games with him is going to kind of see, because you have to keep in mind his non-magic moves are just that bad, at least in my opinion. And the last thing I do want to talk about with the hero is spending money to make money. This kind of idea of, the hero can do all these cool things, but all those cool things take a lot of magic. And using magic is very risky because, like I said, his neutral special and his side special are basically what ties him together as being a decent character without the down special. Those actually take a considerable amount of magic to pull off, and his recovery takes magic to pull off. So it's risky to spend magic and put yourself in a vulnerable state, because without magic you're stuck with this relatively poor character, or very poor character in my early days mind, where you have to actually do damage to gain magic back at a considerable rate. You gain it back very slowly without doing damage to the opponent. So you're by draining your magic or using it recklessly or not optimizing the way that you use your magic, and again, to an extent this is random, you can put yourself in a very difficult state as far as doing well with the hero, because then you're stuck using trash moves. Of course, you lose the stock, you get all your magic back. So yeah, at the end of the day, in conclusion, I think we're gonna have to see the hero in a few tournaments, and if the hero is in grand finals, winning best of fives because of bullshit mechanics, basically, he might have to be banned. And then there's the whole other argument of like international players or players who can't, read English super well are going to have to deal with the language of the region that they're in, even though you might be the best player in the world. Let's just pretend MK Leo goes to a tournament in Japan because he's been known to do that, and let's pretend that his main is the hero. Even if he's the best player in the world, he's not going to be able to play with the hero because he can't read the down special unless he learns the down special in Japanese, which is tricky. So yeah, it's going to be weird. And I think this is going to be a very controversial character for a while, because some characters have random elements like Game & Watch, like Peach, but not only have those random elements been really downplayed over the years as the games have progressed, but they are relatively limited to 1 or 2 moves, and they don't make or break the character. Like, yes, Peach can pull a Stitch or a Bomb, but the odds of pulling a Stitch or a Bomb are just so unbelievable. It's like 1 in 250, whereas the odds of you re-rolling on down B is basically as fast as you can hit down B and shield to re-roll and, you know, hope to get some really cool buffs for the hero. And then once you do get certain buffs or moves or whatever, it can affect literally every move the hero has. It's not just one move. But yeah, that's all for me, guys. I just want to have a little talk about the hero. Let me know what you think down in the comments, how you feel about the hero so far. Personally, I am having a lot of fun playing as him. But yeah, there's definitely an argument to be made. Let me know down below. I'll catch you guys next time.